We had fun last week, didn't we? It was a very eventful day over at Georgia Tech. We had the Chariots of Backfire race, very controversial start and finish to that race. And a lot of people have been talking about it. Did you happen to see CNN today?
I did not.
The Situation Room?
I did not.
Wolf Blitzer?
I usually watch that.
Well, I don't know how you missed this. Roll it.
I'm Wolf Blitzer. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. This is a special Situation Room. Confusion reigns from last week's Inside the NBA Chariots of Backfire race. Not one, but two controversies. First, Ernie Johnson complained of a false start. Then Kenny Smith contends Chris Webber was wrongly declared the winner in what was a photo finish. I'm now joined by some of the participants of this race. Let's go to Kenny Smith first. Chris Webber appears to edge you out at the line. You contend your torso crossed the finish line. First, go ahead, explain your side of the story.
Well, firstly, I filed a formal protest within the 24-hour confines of the race. And under Article 3080, which Chris is pretty shady in anyway, I made a formal protest. And my thing was, first, was the false start. I put that in my protest as well because he left before I did. Secondly, his competitive spirit was just horrific. He was yelling at me. He was screaming and spitting at me as he was running through the race. So his Olympic spirit, I filed a protest against that as well. In my last protest, in Article 12, it states that it's not your foot, it's not your hand, it is your torso in the Olympic spirit to get over that finish line and cross. He grabbed the tape and his foot came over, but all conclusive evidence shows that my torso was ahead of his. And all of these cameras that we have and millions of dollars that we spend in this TNT production, they had no camera from the left side where I was. Why is that? That's another conspiracy that I'd like to find out.
Well, you know, the video, Kenny, supporting your claim, shall we say, is inconclusive at best. I think you'll agree to that, right?
Wolf, you don't have the answers, Wolf. You don't have the answers. You don't have the answers. So you can't say that. Do you even have a clothing line, Wolf? Do you have a clothing line?
I'm not allowed to have a clothing line because I'm a highly paid professional journalist.
I'm the Bill Gates of this.
I don't need a clothing line. But what I do need are the correct answers. Was it an inconclusive video that we saw about who won that race?
It was conclusive. I saw it. Everyone there saw it. They just did not have a left camera angle because now they're harping on his foot going over and his hand. But you cannot see my torso because they did not want to spend the extra $25 to have a cameraman on the left-hand side of the arena.
You did, in fact, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny, near the end, essentially you started to coast that last 15 yards. Did you not?
It's celebration. It's not a coasting. There's a big difference between celebration and coasting. And then Mr. Webber has been going around all over the country celebrating himself as the victor. And I put a formal protest in, and the medal should be stripped from Mr. Webber. He's making rap music about this and singing, run through the tape, run through the tape. Listen, I'm from New York City. I take rap beef very seriously, Wolf. I know what that's about. I lived through the Biggie Tupac era.
But maybe you should have started celebrating after the race was finished as opposed to those last few yards. You think back, do you regret that?
I'm celebrating right now because I still know I won.
But let's talk about your second place finish.
I didn't have a second place finish.
You obviously are still refusing to accept that silver medal. You don't even want to touch it, acknowledge it. Is that right?
No, because I didn't win a silver medal. Myself and the Olympic team against the Russians basketball team, we will both go to our grave not touching that medal.
All right. Let me bring Ernie Johnson into this conversation. Ernie, a lot of people feel you were the true victim here. You didn't even get a chance to compete. What happened?
Well, I think you talk about inconclusive video. I think if you look at the video of the start, there's no doubt it is conclusive that everybody jumped the gun.
No, not everyone. Webber jumped the gun. Not everyone.
I think I'm talking now, Kenny. And because I had my head down, I was focused, I was not going to look anywhere else, I was just waiting for the sound of that gun. And then
Why would you wait for a gun?
All I heard, because we're starting the race with a gun.
What neighborhood you grew up in?
There's a starting gun, Kenny, that we used. And so, look, Wolf, you know athletes, you know the years of dedication and training they put into endeavors, and I feel like I had minutes of my life wasted in training for this race. And
well, let me ask you this question. How hard, Ernie, did you train for this race? And did you actually have a practice in which you heard that gun go off to launch you into that run?
Actually, I was over at Davis Middle School in Flowery Branch, Georgia, the previous weekend.
I've never heard of that.
And that's where my daughter Maggie teaches. And we were on the track, and she was, you know, I went the 100 yards and was fairly pleased with how I was doing, and I was ready and focused for that race last week. And that's again why the disappointment of the moment. It's been very hard on my family. Well, it's just been very difficult.
Do you want me to stop this interview, Ernie?
Give me 2 seconds. Let me just compose myself.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. We've gone through this before, because I know that you're also thinking of some ways potentially to settle the dispute, maybe another competition. Any thoughts on that?
No.
He doesn't want it. He does not want
my moment was there. I was building toward that one moment, and I'm the only one who waited to hear Dennis Scott shoot the starting gun, and I just feel like.
Well, if I have something to say,
I mean,
you have something to say. Hold on.
Well, you just look at my body compared to these guys' bodies. You can just see the difference.
Hold on a second. I just want to make sure that we get some resolution of all of this. And here's an option, and I'm going to get both of you to weigh in on this. To guarantee fairness and impartiality, would you be open, Ernie, first to you, to have people decide via social media who won this race?
Oh, without question. I think that people would see that had there been a fair start, it would have been very difficult for any of those four to keep up with me. What?
You're talking about social media?
What about that, Kenny? Are you ready to let your followers on Twitter and Facebook and every place else, social media, weigh in and come to a resolution?
I am social media. I mean, if my followers, if they're true followers, that means you already know that I'm going to have close to 1 million people vote for me. So we don't need to have them vote because they're my followers. They follow me. Wolf, they follow me. They're going to come follow me.
You sound pretty confident.
Yeah, I assume
he's ready to let social media. I missed what you said, Ernie. What'd you say?
I said he'd also beat Chris Webber in humility.
Oh, it's not about. I'm just stating the facts. I won the race. It has nothing to do with. They're following me, Ernie. I'm not trying to say be lack of humility, but they follow me because they want to be with me. That's all I'm saying.
That sounded really weird.
Why would you follow someone?
All right, guys, hold on for a moment because we've got some others who want to weigh in. Shaquille, Chuck, let's call you Shaq and Chuck. What do you want to add? Well, that's it for me. I'm not exactly sure we cleared up a whole lot, but thanks very much for joining us. I'm Wolf Blitzer in the Situation Room.
Thank you, Wolf. I know you're in my corner, man.
Yeah, they should have been happy I did this interview.
You guys are solid professionals.
Thanks, Wolf. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Wolf. Is there a better sport in the world than Wolf Blitzer? Awesome stuff.
He is a really...
C-Web won the race, but Kenny isn't buying it. What should the Inside the NBA crew do
Strip
next?
his medal.
Send your ideas.
Strip his medal.
I say swimming.
Hashtag Chariots.
I say swimming down and back.
Yeah, I'll beat him in swimming. I'll beat him in ping pong. I'll beat him in kayaking. I'll beat him in shooting. We should do a whole decathlete thing, and I know I would.
I love the little caption, sore loser.
It's not a loser. When you come
Tell him why you're mad,
long.
son. Tell him why you're mad, son.
It's not. I'm not even angry, Shaq. I'm not even angry.
What kind of example you set for KJ?
I'm allowing my I'm standing up for my rights.
I know you got
standing up for my rights.
You want KD?
You celebrated
Just wait.
too early.
All of
You
this.
celebrated too early. Yes,
But
you
all
did.
of this is getting. You know what's getting lost? Your actual performance in the race.
Oh.
I beat Ernie.
Now see again.
There it is.
I
There it is.
I
You
go
got
back-
beat
I
Ernie.
go back to the
beat
I
Ernie.
go back to the false start.
Got T-shirts out.
Look at
Hey.
this. Look at
Hey,
Brandon
no,
upstairs.
TNT.com,
Run
1999.
through the tape.
No,
Yeah.
listen, man. I'm gonna let y'all know.
Never give
I
up
take
in life.
I
Run
take
through the
beef
tape.
very seriously. I'm from New York. I take beef very seriously.
Run through the tape.
Oh my goodness.
Run through the tape.
Hopefully we've heard the end
Run
of
through
that.
the tape.
But I have a feeling we haven't.